I gave this interesting question in the final exam for my calculus class. So the problem was, what is the integral of 0 to pi 1 over 1 plus sine x dx? So some of my interest student has a really interesting idea. So what they did, so they say let u equal 1 plus sine x. So they start with this substitution. And you can see that is the function, the denominator. And then you have these. So when you look at the value at x equals 0, you can see when x equals 0, u equal 1 plus sine 0 equal 1, because you can see sine 0 is 0. So because of that, you get 1. And then when you look at the x equal pi, and you can see since sine pi is also 0, uh, so you can see that you again get 1. So, and these two will be very clear from the graph. And if you look at the sine graph, and you can see at 0, sine 0 is 0, and at pi, and you can see again sine 0 is 0, sine pi is 0. So because of that, you get u equal 1 at both endpoints. Then what happened, because of that, you can write this one. So you have 0 to pi 1 over 1 plus sine x dx. So it's going to be the integral of some function of u, because u is 1 plus sine x. So you say, okay, so some kind of function of u, so it doesn't really matter, some kind of function, and then du after the substitution part. So, and then you put the two limits. So the limits are 1 and 1. And then you also know that um, those two numbers are the same, and also it's some kind of function for the integrand. And because the two limits are the same, and they argue that this integral has to be 0, because the two endpoints are the same, and then you have some kind of function of u in the as the integrand, and then it's a du function, so it looks like nothing is wrong, and then you get 0. But this is clearly not true. Uh, there are so many arguments why this is not true, because you can see 1 plus sine x, 1 over 1 plus sine x is like it's a continuous function. There are no zeros in the denominator in this domain, so it looks good. And then so there's no way that you can get 0, because also it's also very clear from the, if you look at the graph of the function, and you can see this red area is uh, that's the integral representation of that, and you can see it's not 0. So you get a finite value for that. So the question is, what went wrong? So you can see you have 1 to 1 some function of u and then the du. So it looks like it is 0, but graph says that that's not the case. So you can see it's not 0. So the question is, what went wrong? So what is wrong with this argument? So see whether you can identify the problem here. So there is like, it's a very interesting question, and see whether you can identify the question. And if you know the answer to this question, and you can comment below. So you can see this is a really interesting question. And so what went wrong? So it's very clear from the graph, this cannot be 0, but it looks like it's 1 to 1 integral, so it looks like it's 0, but it's not. So what is wrong with this argument? So please comment below if you have a nice argument for this one. Thank you for watching.